going live. We are streaming to Christian Temple. We are streaming to Talking Toast. And now we are streaming on YouTube. It is good to see you. The YouTube.
Yep, we're up and at 'em. So welcome to Talking Toast. Do you have a few minutes? We officially start at 8:28.
We do.
You have a few minutes to grab a friend, grab a drink, and grab a friend a drink.
Yes.
But don't grab your friend's drink.
Unless your friend, you're giving it to your friend. And
Yeah.
that's really nice.
That is really nice to do.
It is.
I brought you a drink tonight.
You brought me a drink.
Yep,
So it's
sounds
working.
right.
Perfect. It looks a little washed out. What do you think? Maybe we need to...
I think we need to make this dimmer.
Dimmer? Let's see here. No, you bring the... ah! There we go. A little bit lower. Yeah, there you go. How about that?
Yeah.
That looks a little better.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
That's better.
Nice.
That's better.
We've got a new camera, and we're trying to figure it out together. Thank
That's
you,
fun.
Sweetwater.
Yeah, thank you to Sweetwater.
Absolutely.
They don't sponsor us, but we wouldn't turn a
Oh
sponsorship
man, I
down.
would not turn a sponsorship down from Sweetwater.
That would be great.
Absolutely not.
That would save us a lot of money.
One of us in particular. Well, we are on Talking Toast. Let us know where you are viewing from tonight. Where you are joining us in. We're joining us in
Where you are
where you are.
in the world,
I
where
wanna be
you're
where you
joining us from, which we can end the sentence with "from" now because the Oxford English Dictionary said it was okay.
are. Absolutely.
Or somebody said it was okay. Whoever the arbiters of grammar are.
That's right.
The evil overlords of grammar.
That's right. The evil overlords of grammar. Oh man.
Wouldn't that be great to be an
evil overlord?
I'm just gonna drink my beer now.
Sorry.
Some days,
Oh man.
some days I wonder if I heard the calling right, and instead of being a benevolent overlord,
The caption just said, "Isn't it great to be a grandma?" Oh man, I love benevolent overlord Catherine. Just man, we got to go back and watch some of these closed captionings. Let's see what Facebook thinks.
if you're good at editing video, I think it would be really funny sometime to do bad lip reading with Talking Toast
Or just bad AI. Yeah.
or bad AI.
Hey, my dad. So we got Dad's watching in Boiling Springs. That's good. So, yeah.
So here we are. It is 8:29. It's time to begin. And every week we begin with the same thing, with the same question. We ask a simple question. What is sustaining you?
That's right. What is getting you by? What is your 808 beat? What is the thing that's giving you life right now? What is saving your life right now? What is, what's your current? What's your, all the things. I feel like this is par for the course. Lily is unhappy.
Losing it.
Yes.
There's probably a white dog walking in front of the house right now.
These little white dogs, she just goes nuts over. Yeah.
So what's
what's
sustaining
sustaining
you?
you?
We want you to type it in. If you're watching,
Yeah.
type it in. Let us know what's sustaining you. I have a feeling that your dad is being sustained by his massage chair.
Yeah.
But what is sustaining you?
Oh, I get to see both grands over the next week. That's good stuff. That's a good question. I get into sports radio a lot,
Yeah.
and I've
I
been
know
listening.
That. I'm well aware of that.
Yep, I've been listening, and it's weird because I'm kind of missing basketball season.
Oh man, me too.
I really love college basketball, women's
Yeah.
and men's, and there's something about it, and I've enjoyed watching the WNBA with Caitlin Clark on the Indiana Fever. And honestly, I'll confess, this is my first time watching a full WNBA game.
It's been pretty brutal.
Well, she's played well.
She's doing great.
It's hard,
and she's figuring it out.
Yeah,
and
but
it's been a lot.
Anyway, we're in the transfer portal time right now in college basketball, and Clemson just signed another shooter, and I'm feeling really good. I'm really excited about this next season. We have a top 25 incoming freshman class, and we have 4 players from the portal who are all like pretty good, and all of a sudden like we're a basketball school, and I'm excited about it as I wear my football thing given to me by my mother-in-law. Thank you. But yeah, I was just kind of listening and thinking about, we had it really good this college basketball season. That was fun.
It was a fun time.
We
watched a lot of basketball in this basement.
We did.
Pretty much every night.
Bill Harding said, "Friends and family are sustaining us. We are thankful for our close-knit community." That's right.
Oh,
and
good.
I think if I think about Christian Temple as being part of that.
Yeah, I love my Bill Harding hugs on Sunday mornings.
They're good people.
Good people.
Yeah. Well, Katie, what's sustaining you? Mine is a hope for basketball season.
What
is yours?
I'll tell you what is not sustaining me. And I have a feeling it's the same thing that is not sustaining you. And then I'll get to what's sustaining me.
Okay.
But I have to say this.
Okay.
I took my car to the shop 2 weeks ago, and I've yet to find out what is actually wrong with my car.
Yeah.
But that's another story for another day. They were feeling benevolent because they were not telling me what was wrong with my car, and gave me a free loaner, which next time someone gives me a free plug-in EV as a loaner, I'm going to think that they want to be my enemies because it's terrible. I will be the first to say, no, it's a great car.
It's a beautiful car.
I have been calling it my sassy car. It is fun to drive. It's fun to look at. I don't get excited about cars. And then I had to go try to charge it, and it is a pain in the neck. I mean, I was out 3 nights in a row trying to charge it, and then you were out late last night trying to charge it.
I was going to say, are you really going there?
No, I
spent 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock with that dadgum car.
Yeah.
Trying to figure... Anyway.
And like, I am all for, let's go to electric vehicles. But our country's infrastructure is not ready for electric vehicles.
At least in our town. It is not ready.
It is
I also feel like that this is a technology for folks who have a garage.
It is. Not for people who live in a row home.
No. And so, anyway, learn that.
So that's what's not sustaining me.
Yeah.
What is sustaining me is I got to take Sophie to the Gaithersburg Book Festival on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. I don't know, whatever time it was. And I went to nothing. I did not go to any workshops, any readings, nothing for myself. And we just did that book festival for her. And it was such a delight. Like, we just had the best time. They had crafts and they had all kinds of stuff. But, excuse me, she got to meet her favorite writer. And John and I have tried to introduce Sophie to as many awesome women as possible who are just kicking butt. And like Joanne Spence, who's watching right now, is one of those awesome women. Mm-hmm. And what a joy it was to introduce Sophie to Tracy Baptiste, and she was so generous and gracious with Sophie, and it was just such a delight. And then, and Bill Harding said Pastor Sophie coming up. Then Sophie leading the worship service on Sunday was just beautiful.
Leading it, yeah. She did the story for all ages, and she was the only kid that volunteered for it, and she
rocked it.
I heard somebody yell. Hopefully that's not her. But yeah, she did great. It was just absolutely wonderful.
It's just a fun time. That is her.
That is her. Do you want me to go up or you want to go up?
It's your turn.
Okay. Can you let me out?
Yeah, I'll let you out.
All right.
So, I told her we were doing Talking Toast. So it's just a fun time to be a parent right now. This is a fun age, 6.5. So that's what's been fun for me. So we started Talking Toast as a way to pull back the creative, the curtain on the creative process for our sermon writing process. And it's funny because if we were not doing Talking Toast, these would be conversations that we would have in the car, at the dinner table, wherever, that while we were working through sermons and ideas and stuff like that, we found ourselves, talking through this stuff and thought, like, why not let people in on this process? So just to kind of orient us, we at Christian Temple are in the lectionary cycle. We're a part of this 3-year cycle of readings and celebrations. And so we just had a big celebration, Pentecost, which is the celebration of the giving of the Spirit, the celebration of the birth of the church as well. And this Sunday is an interesting one to add to the mix. This Sunday is also Trinity Sunday. So Trinity Sunday it always happens the week after Pentecost. So if you think about it, you've got God the Creator, you've with kind of just like Advent and the beginning of the liturgical year, the lectionary year, and then Jesus is born into it. So then you've got Jesus the Son, and that is the second person in the Trinity. And so once you get the third person in the Trinity, once you get the Spirit. And so now we officially have introduced all three people of the Trinity, all three beings in the Trinity, parts of the Trinity. And so this Sunday is the Sunday we celebrate that. It's Trinity Sunday. And so it's always the same text, which is a really interesting gospel lesson. It's always the lesson of Nicodemus. And for God so loved the world that God gave God's only Son,
that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
we had to memorize that one.
Yeah, I never had to memorize that one.
Really?
No, I didn't. And if I did, I didn't do it. So clearly not impactful in my life. But so what we're going to do this week is I'm going to preach on the gospel lesson, and John is going to preach after and kind of tie up loose ends and relate it back to the Trinity. So John's going to explain the Trinity in 10 minutes, and we'll just wait back and see what happens.
That's right. So yeah, we will see. So tell me, at what point are you right now?
I oriented us.
You oriented us.
Yeah. So our scripture this week is our gospel lesson is the John 3:16. But there's more than John 3:16. It's right. John 3 1 through 17, which I think I was thinking about this earlier. And I think when we preach this text, we always feel compelled, or often feel compelled, to do a lot of explaining around 3:16 and 3:17, that we almost overlook the Nicodemus story, which I think is equally interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try, and I want to encourage people to try to do something that is not common. But let's do the opposite. Let's overlook John 3:16. Let's set that aside. Let's, in good Zoom meeting language, let's table that discussion for next time. Let's table that, and let's talk about Nicodemus, because he's a fascinating little guy.
He is.
Not little guy. He's not Zacchaeus. Sorry.
Sorry, I was saying you're getting excited and you're kicking the thing,
Oh,
and so
sorry.
it's shaking. And your foot's still on it. So I'm sorry. I don't want people to think we're in an earthquake.
We are totally in an earthquake.
Yeah. We had someone who had a bad dream, and so she's back down here. So yeah, Nicodemus.
So Nicodemus comes to Jesus, and Nicodemus is a Pharisee. So he is in this group of people that are enforcers of the law, and I think we often think of Pharisees as bad, but I find it really interesting, this Pharisee that comes to him.
Yeah.
He comes in the night, which a lot of people kind of interpret as he's coming under the cloak of darkness. I don't know what to think of that. Like he's coming in secrecy so that nobody else knows that he is seeking out teaching from Jesus.
Well, this is also in John, right? So you've got already that little bit of anti-Semitism. Not a little bit. There are a lot of anti-Semitism because we think that the gospel writer had been kicked out of that community. Was in a community of people who have been kicked out of the synagogue. So you have that. But then there's also the idea that Nicodemus comes in and like names Jesus rabbi.
Yeah. So he names Jesus rabbi, but he also, I didn't realize this until today. Nicodemus shows up again.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know when?
Not off the top of my head.
If you know
But
when
yes.
Nicodemus shows up again, type in, because we'll wait to tell you. Nicodemus shows up again. And I wonder,
It's got to be in John.
I simply wonder if his showing up at this point, early in Jesus's ministry, I wonder if his showing up in the dark is not him showing up so people won't see him, but is more symbolic, because John does this symbolic stuff of people coming to Jesus in the midst of their shadows, in the midst of the moments in life when they don't understand it all. So here's when he shows up. Nobody has typed in. He shows up again when he goes to prepare the body, Jesus's body, to
That's
be
what I was
put
thinking.
in the tomb.
Yeah.
He brings spices to put on Jesus's body.
And is this Nicodemus who, is this in John
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, in John 19, I think it is.
How about that?
So here's what I find interesting about that. What we see in that lifespan then is a journey.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of wondered why we have this story on Trinity Sunday. But I wonder if some of it is because Nicodemus didn't have it all figured out. He was an active Pharisee, and yet he came. He came to Jesus, and he kept coming. I assume he kept coming to Jesus, so much so that he felt responsible at his death. And I think that might hold in it a calling that even in the midst of not understanding the Trinity, we keep showing up.
And yet he calls him rabbi too, meaning like that something, he recognizes that something has shifted here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that's trained in this, not Jesus, which is interesting. Also think about a sermon one time that I heard from Randy Wright in Fernwood, and he started it off talking about the Pharisees get a bad rap, and he said, if you're a pastor and the Pharisees were Christians, you would want a church full of Pharisees.
Yeah.
Like the Pharisees are going to show up. They're the ones
Yeah.
who are going to follow along. They're
gonna
going
get
to
stuff
be there.
done.
They're going to get stuff done. They're
Yep.
the ones who are following things to the letter of the by the letter of the law, and I think that's really interesting. Yeah. So Nicodemus shows up at the end again. I that's one of those things that I remember, but like I did, you know what I mean? Like I needed the
Y'all,
I needed the reminder.
I spent an hour folding laundry,
There's no point.
and it has just been knocked off the couch.
It's okay. It's okay. She's got her pillow and her blanket. She's good to go. So yeah, that turns us to the Trinity, and I'll be talking about the Trinity, and after this text about Nicodemus. I'm still interested in where I'm going to go with all of that, but I'm definitely going to teach the kids the word perichoresis. Bill Harding asked, did he call him rabbi because he recognized him as an equal?
That's a really good question.
I don't know. Or because rabbi at that time would have been like not equal.
Yeah.
It would have been, I'm learning from you.
Yeah.
And it was very important for the Pharisee to take on the yoke of a rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see Jesus talking about my yoke is easy, my yoke is light, that's his teachings are something that are supposed to enliven us.
And you would only call someone rabbi if they were your teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a claiming there.
Yeah. Which is really fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this, I'm probably going to teach the kids the word perichoresis, which is the big theological term for the dance between the Trinity, the divine dance, if you're a Richard Rohr fan. And I think this is really fascinating. I think about, well, first off, anytime it's Trinity Sunday, I automatically think about that, the St. Patrick trying to explain the Trinity. There's a great YouTube
That's
video.
heresy, Patrick.
That's modalism. Yeah. Anyway, something that theology nerds can like geek out about.
We'll post the link on here.
Yeah.
Shortly.
I will in a minute. But I also think about the triquetra, like as an image for this, like one flowing into the other. The ichthus is something that's been used, which a lot of people call the fish. That's been used throughout. Early Christianity used the ichthus. And so the triquetra is basically three fish, three ichthus together, and they run directly into each other, where there's not a separation. There's no ending, no beginning.
Yeah, there's no ending and there's no beginning.
Yeah. And I think about we are creatures that have an ending and beginning, but do we? So I'm wondering like where.
Every ending is a new beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But
and that kind of goes along with the idea of being born from above, which is in the Nicodemus text.
Yeah, and then the kind of the circular pattern of that.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say with that. The divine dance.
Sorry,
I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
It's gone. No. It wasn't that. No, I am a distraction person. So like, whenever there are multiple distractions,
Yeah.
like the little one over there,
Gathering all her animals. I think the days are drawing to a close that someone is asleep by the time we start talking toast.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out from here on out. With the days getting bright when it's bright outside at night,
it's
we'll
hard.
have to figure it out.
It's hard.
Well,
I was going to say the perichoresis thing is a really interesting concept to think about. It's this idea of the divine dance, of the three figures of the Trinity dancing together, so much so that you can't see their beginning or their end.
Yeah.
And yet they maintain their personhood. They maintain their separateness in some way. And so I love it that it's this like dance of love and relationality.
Yes, and that's what I was trying to get to.
Okay.
Was a really good model for this that was given to us by Augustine, actually, was the lover, beloved, and the love that binds.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating to think about as a Trinitarian model as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. The Trinity is really an interesting, Eastern Orthodox or Eastern Christianity. So there was this big split of the church in 1054. They call it the Great Schism. And it was over the Trinity. It was over whether the second person of the Trinity, the Son, or the Christ, was an equal part of the Trinity with God, the Creator or Father. And so they split, and it was this big deal over the filioque word, whether the Son came from the Father, or whether the Son came from the Father, or was its own kind of thing. And so perichoresis came about in Eastern Christianity during that time, because there was a greater emphasis on the Trinity there than in Western Christianity or what was going on in Rome and Europe. And so what's been interesting has been over the last, I would say, 20 years, this kind of reawakening of Eastern orthodoxy, of Eastern spirituality, revolving around the Trinity, and this idea of all of spirituality coming down to this notion of being in a fluid relationship with one another.
Yeah.
With God, our neighbor, and self is this fluid relationality that we get from the Eastern Orthodox traditions.
Yeah. It wasn't as cut and dry
as the Westerners thought it was going to be.
And church historian nerds also need to recognize that there are geopolitical things that happen within that as well.
Yeah.
The theological side of it is the Trinitarian things, but there's also Constantinople and Rome and those kinds of things.
Oh yeah.
That's fascinating.
And then so there were multiple popes at one time and all kinds of crazy stuff going on at that time. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think we've just about used all of our time tonight.
We have.
I think we've kept it together fairly well.
It's like the I like to think about the image of the duck on the water. The duck on the water looks so peaceful, just like floating. And then underneath it's like, ooh, swimming like crazy. So that's us right now.
Yeah. I don't think I've caught back up from the EV debacle last night. I'm so mad at that car. And mad because like over half of the chargers in our area are out
of order.
And have been out of order.
Yeah.
And anyway.
We got a long way to go on that.
We do. We'll get there. It's got to change.
It do.
It do gotta change. It's true. Oh, we love you too, Joanne. So, we've done some talking, and now we need to do some toasting.
Sophie, do you want to come help us with our toast?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were asleep over there.
No.
Come on over here.
All right. You don't have a drink, but you can still toast your fist.
Here, come right here in the middle.
All right.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to start it, and then you'll go next, and then Dad will close it out, okay? Ready?
Right.
May you go from this place and remember that it is so good to keep showing up day after day after day.
Remember the mustard seed.
Absolutely. Good things come in small packages, right? Yeah, that's right. And remember that you are part of this thing, this Trinitarian idea, this lover, beloved, and the love that binds. That includes us. So, yeah, go from here, friends, and cheers.
Cheers.
We'll
Say
see.
cheers.
Cheers.
You've got invisible
Cheers.
kid beer.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's not.
Invisible kid beer.
Probably shouldn't repeat that.
No.
Sorry. Milk. Invisible milk.
Invisible milk.
There you go.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. And
You are so cute.
somebody will be in bed, and it'll be great. All right. Much love, friends. Have a great night. See you next week.
Oh, we really will see Joanne next week.
Oh yeah. I know.
In Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we
Yeah.
going to Pittsburgh?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Seriously?
Something happens next Friday for both mommy and daddy.
You graduate because you just got your doctorate.
Yes.
That's right. Good job, kiddo.
Everyone give a big cheer for Katie and John.
You kids.
Anna said, between the vocab and the concept, some heavy tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to end
We'll,
it with.
we'll water it down for Sunday. Don't worry.
And the word of the day is the.
Is the.
The
Very good. Very good. All right, friends. We'll see you next week.
night night.
Say night night.
Night night.